Hey guys, how's it going? Lee here. Now, if you saw my previous video, you would have known, and I definitely hinted, that I'm starting to become a bit of a fiend. A fiend for frequent flyer points. So, during my time back from the holiday, I've scoured the internet to see if I could find the juiciest card for me to collect these points in. Now, for me, previously I've dealt with Velocity and I've dealt with Amex. Amex is probably my favorite. It's a bit more diverse in the way you can go about things. But then I sat down and I looked up Qantas Frequent Flyer, having earned about 100,000 points previously from the ANZ Black Frequent Flyer card. It was then when I came across this juicy deal for 120,000 Quantas Frequent Flyer Points. That's a lot of points for anybody. Now, this was a lot of points in comparison to what many other cards at the time were offering. Many of them were under $100,000 with pretty onerous, requirements for you to spend within a 3 to 4 month period. Some with maybe 90,000 Qantas points with $6,000 spent within 3 months. And I just wasn't down for that because I didn't think it was such a good deal. But this one was by Qantas and it looks pretty good. So given the lack of options on the table, I gave this one a go and have been using it for about a month now. So I thought I'd give my review on it for you guys to see if it's for you or not. Now, before I go into the review, it'd be great if you could smash the like button for me because it tells me that I'm doing a great job and it also helps other people find my channel and video as well. So if you could do that, that would be greatly appreciated. But also, before I go into the review, just a quick disclaimer that you shouldn't be applying for credit cards unless you can pay them back. So please be responsible for your credit card applications. I understand that the points are enticing, but it should not be to the detriment of your financial health. So why did I get this card and what are the perks? So the initial perk, obviously, as I mentioned before, is the 120,000 Quantas Frequent Flyer Points. Now, points are great, but what exactly does that mean? So in context, that would give you a business class flight in one of the best and highly regarded business class services leaving Australia. That is QATAR Airways business class flight. Now, this flight departs from the east coast of Australia over to Doha and is highly regarded by many people who have been on it and shown their experiences on YouTube as one of the best services they've been on. So if you're heading anywhere over to London or into Europe, I would definitely make Doha a connecting point just to get that experience of one of the best services in business class that you can get departing from Australia. Now, just to note, that flight to Doha is going to cost you about 104,000 frequent flyer points to fly, assuming it's available, that is. Now, option number 2, if you've ever seen Casey Neistat's video where he takes a shower while he's in a plane, that's just crazy to me. But if you ever wanted that experience, you can get that flying in Emirates first class from Sydney to Christchurch for around 62,000 points. And although the flight is short, having showered within a Qantas lounge, I can only imagine how cool that would be actually taking a shower whilst you're in a plane in the sky. Like, that's just mind-blowing, the type of experience that would be. Just being refreshed and coming out straight into your first class seat and sitting back down. Given it is only a 3-hour flight, it is more so for the experience of being in first class and having that shower experience, if anything else. So if that's something you want to do, definitely give that a go. And given that it's only 62,000 points, it's not too bad of a deal. Option number 3, if you're looking to make your way up to Asia, then what you can do is catch Japan Airlines business class experience, which is regarded as one of the best business class products departing from Australia. Now, this is going to set you back about 90,000 frequent flyer points, but for a service that's regarded maybe second to QATAR Airways, it's a no-brainer. And Japan's always a cool spot. There's lots of things to do over there. But if you're not looking to go as far as Japan and just want to make a quick stop over in Singapore or want to holiday in Singapore, then Qantas has got you covered. For 102,000 points, you can grab a first class seat over to Singapore, and that would be one hell of an experience, one way. Now, the second perk of this card has to do with its points per dollar spent. Now, for this card, it'll be 1 point for every dollar spent, upwards to $10,000 per statement period. And after that, it's 0.5 for every dollar spent. If you are purchasing from overseas, you earn 1.5 point for every dollar spent. Keep in mind the exchange rates and all that when you're making those type of purchases. Now, the 1 point per dollar spent isn't anything too unique. However, the rates of exchange for points per dollar spent is better than what many other banks are offering. Now, the last perk is 2 business class lounge access passes. Say that about 4 times. But essentially you get 2 lounge passes either domestically or if you're going internationally. But your experience will be depending on which airport you're actually at. Like the worst experience I probably had is Virgin Brisbane domestic. And no offense to Virgin, but the lounge was pretty mediocre. I had maybe cereal, I had a toasted sandwich, and that's probably about it in terms of offering. So now we're done with the perks, we're gonna move over to the requirements for the card, the eligibility criteria and all that type of stuff. And this is where a fair bit of criticism is gonna come in. So let's get the first one out of the way. It's pretty simple. You just have to earn $35,000 to be eligible for the card. What does bug me is that the 120,000 points is spread over a 6-month period. So it's 20,000, 20,000, 20,000, all the way up to 120,000 over the 6-month period. For each month, you have to spend $1,500. Now, I don't know about you, but I actually don't spend $375 a week excluding rent. But hold up, that's not where the issues just stop. Another issue with the card is that it actually doesn't support Apple Pay. Now, my initial thoughts of getting these cards, which I normally do with many cards, is that I'll put the card on my Apple Pay on my phone, and then I'll give my card to family members or my partner, and when they go to spend things, you know, all of that kind of racks up for the minimum spend. You know, I'm sure other people do it as well. It's a great little hack. But when it doesn't have that Apple support, it makes it very difficult to meet the minimum spending requirements because I have to hold on to the card and I can't really give it to anybody else to use unless they're doing online purchases. If you wanted to add an extra card holder, you have to actually pay $50 to add somebody else so they can hold the card as well. And so this becomes, again, a lot more harder for you to meet the monthly spending requirements. Now, the way I've gotten around is by paying other people's bills through my card. The cool thing is, with the card, there are 2 forms of eligible transactions. The first one is for the 120,000 points. Now for the 120,000 points, any formal purchase or transaction will be considered an eligible transaction. But I'm not talking about balance transfers or anything like that. It has to be an actual transaction. For the point per dollar spent, that is everything exclusive of government spending, which includes tolls, which is private, but they include it in there anyways. So like I said, to meet the 120,000, I would just pay off big bills that your friends might have, that your family might have, just to get over those thresholds if you're like me and not a big spender. Now, the last requirement for this card is that there is a $199 fee for the first year, which then jumps up to $299 per year. Now, I honestly don't think it's worth paying for the year afterwards, just because you're not really getting many perks out of it. Apart from some extra insurances that I haven't mentioned, but most cards have travel insurance in some form. But to pay $300 just so you can keep a $1 per point earn rate is really, really poor. So what would I give this card? I'd probably give it like a 6.5 jumping kangaroos out of 10. Just because of all the barriers that I mentioned before for you to meet the minimum spend per month, it's quite frustrating and quite annoying. What I will say though, in defense of the card, is once you do meet the spending requirement for the month, the 20,000 points hits your account along with the point per dollar spent within 2 to 3 days. So that's really quick. I was thinking it's gonna take a couple of weeks, which I read a couple of people's things that said it takes a couple of weeks, but it only took about 2 to 3 days, which is great. Another positive of getting the card is that it's actually encouraged me to get really involved in the frequent flyer game in the Qantas program, because downloading the money app on your phone, it gives you so many offers and you can see opportunities where you can earn bonus points in so many other ways than just going to Woolies and getting the rewards cards. But I'm gonna have to knock this back a notch. Again, having to track your spending over a 6-month period for $1,500 a month is just outrageous. And if I had known about all the lack of support with Apple Pay and everything else, would I have gotten a card? Probably not. But hey, we're here, we've already got the card, and after I finish the 6-month period, I will be about 2/3 way to my round the world ticket in business class. So that's it for me, guys. Leave a comment below, leave a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel for more credit card videos coming up, and a bunch of just random finance things. But apart from that, I'll see you guys later. Cheers.